What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wait What We Talking About podcast, episode 110. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. You can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a subscriber over there and join in on the conversation. We'd love to have you. If you can't catch it live, that's a-okay. It's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Did I say SoundCloud? YouTube and podcast services. Go check it out over there. Give it a follow, give it a like, give it a listen, all that fun stuff. And last but not least, merch store. We got some new swag over there. We got the new Boom logo t-shirt, some stickers, along with all the old stuff. So you can go check it out over there. Rep the brand, support us, and we would love you for it. So yes, flying solo today for episode 110. Man, these things go a lot faster when you do them every week. I'm surprised we're at 110 already. But yeah, excited to chat with you guys today, hang out with you guys today, talking some fun topics, hopefully. But we're going to talk some wrestling because Bret doesn't talk enough wrestling. Coming up in about a week's time, as of recording, we have Nxt War Games happening. So I kind of wanted to talk about the match card, what's going on in NXT, am I interested, am I not interested? So yeah, let's talk about War Games. So as of right now, like I said, we are a week away from the event, so we don't have the team's advantages yet of who's going to be entering first and things like that. But we have 5 matches as of right now happening on the card. We have the Ladies War Games match. We're going to have Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray against Dakota Kai and Toxic Attraction, which is Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. We're going to have a hair versus hair match of Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson. We are going to have the NXT Tag Team Championships being defended as we have Imperium facing Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner or Legado del Fantasma. So we still have the number 1 contender match this coming Wednesday to figure out the opponents for Imperium. And then we have the Cruiserweight Championship being defended of Roderick Strong versus Joe Gacy. And then we have the Men's War Games match of Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight versus Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. Interesting card for the night. Now, obviously War Games. These events have been fantastic when we've had them. I'm very much looking forward to the event itself. The last NXT pay-per-view, which I don't know if it had any fancy name, was the first NXT 2.0 branded pay-per-view. And I was a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. Like I think a lot of people were with the rebranding of 2.0 of like, this is going to be totally different. Is it just going to be wiping the slate clean, get rid of all the old guard, bring in the new guard, and just go from there? I was watching, I think I watched the first week of 2.0 just to kind of, all right, let's give it a chance. Let's see what's going on. But I'm going to be honest, I haven't followed up watching-wise of NXT 2.0, but I've stayed in touch social media-wise just seeing what's going on. And it seems like it's a weird mixture of like a transition and a little bit of still respecting the old stuff, which I appreciate. And I don't know if it's just me being, what's the word? Begrudging? Angry? Whatever. Being a sour sport. The new stuff is not really connecting with me just yet. Some characters are. I think Toxic Attraction is crushing it right now. I think that's a strong women's faction that, has some backing behind it. Mandy Rose has been impressive in what she's been able to do, especially from not seeing her all that much on the main roster, and when she was, it didn't seem super clean. She's doing great there. Is it like gonna blow it out of the water? No, but she's holding her own. And then I think Gigi and JC as the tag champs, they're doing well. So I like them. Carmelo Hayes, strong. I think his character needs a little bit more work, or just maybe something like I'm not connecting with, but obviously talent-wise, he crushes it. And then we start getting into the other characters where just like, I don't know if it's the characters are over the top or just don't seem genuine, or if it's because these are newer people and obviously they're still, working on stuff and being established. but they kind of lose me. And it's interesting, or it's tough to be like fully invested at this moment. Do I have faith that this pay-per-view, this event will be great? Yeah, I'm sure it will be good just because of, like I said, the track record of the last pay-per-view, but then obviously you still have the established people from the Black and Gold brand, that iteration still involved. I do appreciate that, once again, that it wasn't just a clean sweep of the palette being like, nah, this is Vince's thing or whoever, and we're just going to completely ditch all of you that were here. Will that eventually be the case? Probably, but it does make sense to keep them there and keep them, being used, because that's experience that can be used to teach these newer guys and gals. So glad we're doing that. And it's going to lead into some interesting matches here, like the men's War Games match. So I think this is the match I'm probably most excited for, is the men's War Game match with the old guard essentially versus the new guard. It's not a face heel team, obviously, and we got a mixture on both sides. But I think this is a fun kind of thing to just have, because obviously they're not being they're being very transparent. Like, we know this is Black and Gold versus the new stuff, and I'm curious how it's going to play out. I have no idea. I think from an obvious booking standpoint, or like getting 2.0 over more, you should have the new guys win. But that's a little concerning, just because obviously the old guard has the experience. So like, it's tough to say what I want to. Well, okay, what I want to happen is the old guard. I want the Black and Gold brand back. But once again, maybe that's me being shallow. But it's like almost not a guarantee, but like I said, it's the smartest move to have the new guys win here, because if you don't, you want to build traction for these new people, and if you don't have them win, it's almost like, why should I invest my time in them? However, circling back to the previous NXT 2.0 pay-per-view, I thought that was a lot of fear for a lot of people, was just, once again, we're going to take all the old guard and, put in the new people. And we did for some of the championships. Obviously, the women's tag belts, we swapped that for a newer tag team. And then we had Braun Breaker going after the main belt, and that was the fear that Ciampa's going to drop this to him, and it's just going to be new people, yay! But obviously Ciampa retained, and like Papa Griff says here in chat, you can look really good losing, and I think that's something that's helped Breaker. That was his first loss, was against Ciampa, and they did have kind of the respect move, like he's saying in chat. Like, Breaker looked better, I thought, leaving that match. Not that he was bad in any of his debut matches or anything like that, but like, I appreciated that he still got the hill to climb, still has the thing to chase after. It's not just, here's the rocket, go to the moon. That's Cameron Grimes' thing, but whatever. We're not just pushing him right to the top and then going from there. So Breaker I actually like. He's got a good energy to him. Kind of reminds me of a Mojo Rawley in like the Hype Bros stuff, which I know wasn't everybody's favorite thing, but I find that entertaining. And I think Breaker's kind of built himself up to a good spot. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. As for the new guy team, like I said, Breaker has some momentum behind him. I kind of like him now. Carmelo is great, very talented. I don't know if it's just something I'm not connecting with character-wise, whether it's how they're presenting it or whatever. He had a very comedic role in the last event when him and, I don't know his manager tag partner's name, but they went to go recover his North American title from Loomis and Gargano, which was just essentially a House of Horrors thing. It was funny. It was comedic. It's nice to see that flexibility in what he can do, but I don't know if that really helped the character they're trying to push. Grayson Waller, I haven't honestly seen much of. I think he's done a lot of stuff on 205 as well as NXT. The most I've seen him was hosting. I think it was Halloween Havoc was the last event. Was that event. And doing a little bit of a bit with LA Knight. And then we get Tony D'Angelo. Now, gonna be honest, once again, I haven't seen Tony D'Angelo wrestle. This character seems like one of them that is over the top and doesn't feel sincere. I remember seeing the first vignette for the 2.0 debut show, and he's like, "Oh, it's Italian. I'm walking down the street. It's me. You want to get a pizza? Like, I'm a fucking mob. What?" Like, it just seems so over the top. You were there. You watched it too. Just, "Oh, it's me, Tony. I got the hat and my arms are taped up because I'm gonna punch you. Let's street fight."
It was stupid.
It was dumb, and it seemed very disingenuous. Now, have there been characters that are Italian in the past? Yeah. Look at Enzo and Cass. They were a bunch of schmucks and goofy when they first showed up, and they eventually, won over the crowd and won over our hearts, and then broke our hearts, and now we get a little redemption for Big Cass, Will Morrissey, but don't too much of a tangent. So Tony, I'm like, I don't get it. It just doesn't. It's weird. Now, if he is really Italian and really, this is him. Oops, my bad. Sorry, dude. But it's off. As far as I've seen, the character is heel, so he does cheat and kind of sneak his way out of situations. So, okay, cool. He's got a little bit of a heel attitude, some depth to his character there, I guess. But that one, I don't know. I just can't get behind it. It's just, like I said, it seems too over the top, seems weird, seems out of place. Yeah. So, this match is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Are the old guard going to keep the momentum, kind of stay established, or the new guard going to pass? Based on Halloween Havoc and how Ciampa went over, I'm leaning towards the new guys going over, for one, for their momentum themselves, but also two, I don't know if this comes into play, but Gargano is on his way out. His contract is up. I think he's signed a short extension similar to Adam Cole to finish the program with Kyle O'Reilly. So it seems like Gargano's on his way out. Not that him winning on his way out would be a bad thing, but it's one of those things like you're on your way out, go out on your back, blah, 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 put over the next guy. Is that a factor? Is it not a factor? I don't know. Pete Dunne's another interesting situation. I think he signed a new contract, but I'm not 100%. I'm not in tune with all that stuff. But if he's on his way out too, that could be another, like the similar situation. Regardless of if their contract, like how the match goes, with with Gargano's at least, with his contract coming up, hope the best for him. I don't know if he plans on going to an AEW or an Impact or whatever. If he does, best of luck to him. I don't know if he plans on just hanging out at home, hanging out with Candace. They're having the kid. Maybe he just wants to spend some time there. Either way, regardless of his path, Gargano, thank you for being you and being awesome in NXT and making a fan. So, best of luck to him. For the rest of the card, we're going to pretty much go in backwards order here. We got the Cruiserweight Championship. We got Roddy versus Joe Gacy. This is another character, personally, I just don't connect with in Joe. It's kind of a mix of a Kevin Owens, which is the positive, and then this weird progressive character. I don't know if I'm describing that right, but he's like super woke, may be a dumb term, but he's like super friendly when the match isn't going on, but then if he gets ticked off in the match, like he'll beat you up and cheat and stuff. Like, it's weird. It's a very odd character to describe, and I'm like, are you trying to piss people off by not being accepting of stuff because of how, like, it's weird. He's aware of, like, be kind to people, be respectful, and like accepting of everybody, but he's doing it so aggressively. He's a bad guy, and it just doesn't, like, I don't know if he's making fun of it or if they're saying like F you to all the people who are trying to make things equal or like equality or like acceptance. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. It seems weird. So I don't have much thoughts on this one. Roddy's Diamond Mine character really hasn't played out the way I want it to. Not that I really had, I guess, a real vision for it, but it's not as strong as I was hoping for. I don't really care which way this one goes. Maybe just Roddy retains. I'd be fine with that. Let's go to the tag team match. We got Imperium versus the potential of Kyle O'Reilly versus O'Reilly and Von Wagner or Legado del Fantasma. I don't know who qualifies for this. Obviously, it's going to happen Wednesday. We'll find out. I feel if you're going the basic face-heel dichotomy, it's got to be O'Reilly and Wagner that go and win the qualifier to get into this match. But then from there, it's got to be Imperium taking it. I think, once again, another contract discussion. Excuse me. I think O'Reilly is on his way at some point. And obviously, we see what's happening over in AEW. We got a little of a Undisputed Era reunion, in a way, with Fish and Cole playing buddy-buddy again. That seems like the clearest path for him, if he doesn't sign again. And, yeah, Imperium literally just won these at the last event in Halloween Havoc, so I don't see them losing the titles right now. There's only one way I see them losing the titles, and that's if Legado qualified. Now, it's weird because it's heel v heel. Tough match to have. Not that the talent can't be talented and make a great match. It's just hard to know who to cheer for. Fans do seem to love Legado and what they've done over this past year. If they qualify, I want them to win, just because of the work they've put in this past year, and they've put on great matches, whether it was with MSK or Fashion Police. Wow, can't believe I blanked on those guys. They've done really good things this past year. So if they did qualify, I'd want them to win, just to kind of give a little nod and tip to the hat to them for their hard work. But heel v heel, that's a rough dynamic to go into. Then we got the hair versus hair match. We got Grimes versus Duke Hudson. Bold stipulation of hair versus hair. Obviously, Grimes is the one in trouble here with the more luxurious hairstyle. This is a weird one. A lot of these matches, I don't know how it's going to go, clearly. But this is another one I'm like, Now, Duke's been messing with Grimes for a while these past weeks, trying to, make him something different. And I don't know if this is just a full-on gimmick change for Grimes. I don't know if Vince doesn't understand the Grimes goofiness look thing. Because obviously, before the rebrand, Grimes went from this transition from this Bayou-esque character, the country boy, to the stock investment, mucho money, to the Moon character, which people loved. And now I don't know if Vince just doesn't understand that character, or if he wants to modify it because Grimes isn't his picturesque superstar. But this is an odd one. It seems like Grimes would lose to switch characters, because Duke also doesn't have that much to lose. No offense to the man, his hair is very short, and so I think this is a one based on what's Vince's faith in Grimes. Does he see something for Grimes? Grimes goes over, keeps his hair. Does he not see something for Grimes? Grimes loses, and we get a whole gimmick change. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one that I think, yeah, really the result is just going to kind of talk about, like, the faith in the Cameron Grimes character and where the corporate side, I guess, sees him going. And it could also just be maybe the To the Moon, the stock character kind of ran its course. It seemed like people were behind him, cheering for him for a lot with the whole DiBiase and LA Knight storyline, and like the transition from that character being heel to face just because he was so over. I don't know. And it could also be like we already have a character like this on the main roster. We have the Happy Corbin character, where Baron was down on his luck and was resorting to these low-handed tactics. And now, I don't know if he was also the stock market, but now he's got a lot of money and he's back to feeling positive and confident in himself. And it's like, well, that's essentially the character he had in Grimes. So it's like, why have the old one when we have this one? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. That one just is odd. And then we're going to move on to the Ladies War Games match. Raquel, Io, Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray versus Dakota, Kai, and Toxic Attraction. These ladies are going to do great. I don't know much about Cora Jade, to be honest. Seems like they're obviously pushing her in this last month or two. But I'm excited to see Kaylee Ray back in action. Obviously moving from the UK brand over to the United States after her UK title reign for maybe a year, and then finally losing it to, what was her name, Makoto or something like that. Yeah, I've been excited to see her in the US NXT. Unfortunately, she moved, did a promo, and then wasn't on TV for a little while because of the NXT 2.0 rebrand, but glad to see she's finally there. Once again, I don't know where this match is going to go. Do you have the new people win, or do you have the old guard, even though Cora is a newbie, go over? I would say, based on the men's match, I think you got to let the established women win. So the face team of Raquel, Io, Cora, and Kaylee Ray. I think you let them win. Toxic Attraction had a big win for themselves with Halloween Havoc. You had the tag titles, and you had the women's belt for Mandy. They had a lot of momentum going their way. I don't think losing the War Games will deteriorate that. This may set up later storylines of like, oh, we beat you in War Games, so I should get a women's title shot. I should get a women's tag shot. I think that could be smart booking to kind of put the pieces in a line. Dakota's a weird one. Not Dakota herself, but she's a weird factor because obviously she just returned at Halloween Havoc. She's angry at Raquel. This is a chance for Raquel and Dakota to kind of go at each other. Makes sense. Do you let Raquel go over again? Or do you finally let Dakota kind of conquer the mountain? Interesting choice. They could still feud after this, unless Raquel's getting called up. I don't know. Because, yeah, before 2.0 started, it seemed like eventually these two ladies would go after the belt, which I think actually Dakota did in the last event, because that's when she disappeared. Yeah. She went against Raquel for the belt. Raquel retained. Dakota left for a little while. Then she came back as the costume character in Halloween Havoc, used the shovel, led to Mandy winning. Okay, so we could get a follow-up just grudge match against these two. So that would be more of the establishing of follow-up matches. So, okay, maybe I talked myself into this. So we're going to have the face team win. Raquel, Io, Cora, and Kaylee. Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of, like, the setups afterwards. We can have Raquel and Dakota go after each other for grudge. Unfortunately, I can picture her face, but I can't think of her name right now. Io's tag team partner, she is unfortunately injured with a leg injury from Havoc, but so they can't have their run back in the tag belts quite yet, unless Io's going to go with a new partner to go after Gigi and JC with. Don't know. Or do you have Io go against Mandy? That's the thing. Do you have any of those three could go for the main belt? Do you have Io go against Mandy? Do you have Cora as the newbie go against Mandy? Or do you have Kaylee as the established UK go against Mandy? So you got some options there. You got some flexibility, and then you just got to figure out what's going on with the tag team of Toxic Attraction of Gigi and JC. Maybe you finally give a shot to Jaden and... Is it Jaden? I think it's Jaden. Jaden and... Man, I can picture all these ladies in my head. Casey Catanzaro. Have those two finally get a title shot because they've been working for a while together and have kind of built some momentum for themselves in the past year. We'll have to see. Let's see. Papa Griff says, not good for Dakota. Jessamine gone, Mia gone, Shayna jobbing on main. Yeah. The releases over this past year have led to a lot of big questions up in the air. I thought with the draft coming up, there would be more call-ups of the old guard of NXT, and I thought that included Raquel. I thought that included Dakota, but obviously they have not. I think they're still there, obviously, in NXT 2.0. Just, once again, it's the experience factor to help out the new ladies, kind of get some momentum there, which I think is smart. And especially with Tegan Knox being released recently as part of the last batch, it's sad to say, but it's scary. It's just like when does the other shoe drop? When does the pin fall? When's the timer done? If and when are these people going to get released? And Dakota could be up there. Once again, you mentioned the BRE, the best roommates ever. Like, a lot of them have gone. I don't know if, the vaccinations from not the previous group, and the group before that is a factor, because that could be Mia's situation. Jessamine, I don't know whatever happened to her. She was on TV when Shayna was in NXT, and then maybe a little bit after when she got called up to the main roster, and then was just, gone doing the video gaming stuff, which nothing wrong with that, but just like big question mark there. Don't know if she even want to wrestle anymore. Shayna's too big of an asset to let go, but then you're like, what the fuck are you doing with her on the main roster? I think she's not because Nia's released, but finally because Nia and her aren't together and tied at the hip with the tag stuff. It seems like they're trying to build Shayna back up. Hopefully that's the case. We'll see. Dakota's an interesting one. I like Dakota a lot. I think she's a great face. I'm surprised, but she's done a really good job as a heel. But yeah, it's just, it's scary. It's a matter of like, blink of an eye, you're gone. And they have the fucking people to burn through and still be fine. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, that's just my quick thoughts on, the upcoming NXT War Games. Like I said, as of recording right now, it is a week away. So you can check that out Sunday on WWE Network if you're not in the U.S., and then Peacock if you are in the U.S. Hope you guys enjoy the event. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's exciting. And we'll keep going from there. So we're going to move on to topic 2. I want to talk about maybe some future games. If I can look up this quick. Games to come out in maybe I'll just put 2022. Oh, shit. There we go. Talk about some games down the road. What I'm excited for, what I'm looking forward to. And just give my quick thoughts on those. Obviously, we're wrapping up on the end of this year of 2021. And, the Game Awards are coming up on December 9th. I believe that's a Thursday. We got some interesting games up for awards in those categories there, like Returnal, Ratchet & Clank, Resident Evil Village. I think the Mass Effect, or maybe not Mass Effect's not in there. What else is in there? Got a lot of cool indie games that are up, like Inscription and Chicory. Forza Horizon 5, I guess, has gotten some nominations. Fucking Nick All-Stars Brawl is in there. Hey, Jeff, Thursday the 9th. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. So, yeah, Game Awards obviously coming up, but we're not talking about those right now. We're talking about 2022. We're talking about games I'm looking forward to then. So, just wanted to do a quick little talk about what I'm excited for. I don't know. Obviously, this is very off the cuff what we're talking about. Well, let's talk about, let's see, nothing standing out to me in January. Let's talk to February. February's got the first big one that I'm very excited for, and I didn't know about this game until some PlayStation show a couple months ago, but it's called Sifu. Now, if you don't know what Sifu is, it's like I think it's a top-down. Maybe it's not. It's a martial arts fighting game where you're a guy who is fighting through all these, bad guys going through the story. But what happens is if you die, you age instead of dying. And you will slowly over time eventually get to death. But your skills will improve over time, obviously, as you progress through the story, and maybe even a little bit with each death. But just the gameplay that I've seen of this game is nuts. Just the amount of choreography and animation that your main character has in their movements, and it looks insane. More old man strength. So let's see if I can get some gameplay here. Stretch it. Yeah, so you're just whooping ass. Just it's over the shoulder, third person, and just seeing the amount of work that this team has put into the combat is insane. It looks like a lot of fun, almost kind of like a mix of John Wick and Bruce Lee and fucking Mortal Kombat maybe. It's insane. I'm really looking forward to playing this game and learning more about what is going on in this story. Seems like there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat, even some weapon combat. So we'll have to see what this game entails as it comes out in February. Speaking of February, the big one, or a big one, Horizon Forbidden West. Ooh, boy. This one's definitely been on the radar for a while, ever since, it's obviously been first announced. But even when finishing Horizon Zero Dawn, man, that game was so much fun. We streamed it years ago at this point. But I just remember enjoying the story with Aloy so much, just steamrolling through the main quest, content, storyline, whatever you want to call it, and really only grazing the surface of this world. Aloy is just a fun character to play as, whether it's her weapon set or her personality, and how she's learning about all this new technology and about what the world really has to hold. And then just the world itself, it's beautiful, big open world, and seeing how these robot characters, the animals, are just out there, and how they move, how they interact with the world. Just the different challenge of each different species of animal. It's a lot of fun, and this is another game like many on my backlog that I need to revisit in Zero Dawn, because once again, I only really grazed the surface because I was just in love with the main quest line so much of breezing through it. There is so much more to discover, more things, more secrets in caverns to learn more about the lore and more about the world and how it's evolved in its lifetime, and then just learning more about the characters and how the civilization works, etc. So Forbidden West, I'm very excited for. That debut trailer blew me away. Game looks fantastic, and it's exciting to see obviously Aloy back and doing what she's doing, but exciting to see the new stuff that she's able to do, whether it's the little paraglider that she's using, or seeing the different tactics that she's being able to use to take down the robotic wildlife, along with the evil tribes, I guess you could say, in the world. Very excited for Forbidden West. February 18th, it says right here. I think that's accurate. I know it went through a little bit of a delay, but very excited to hop back into Forbidden West. I'll touch on it quick because I just know a lot of people are looking forward to this game, but Elden Ring, I saw a little bit of footage and gameplay of the beta that was released to certain people. Looks fun. Excuse me. It's like an open world Dark Souls, if I'm not mistaken. I think the open world mechanic makes it a little bit more interesting to me. The Dark Souls games, that brand, like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, like, I'm not the biggest fan. I have grown to love Sekiro, and I eventually want to get back into that. But like that specific type of gameplay where it's really difficult, not the biggest fan of it. And I think that's why Elden Ring, I was like, oh, cool, you guys are getting something for you, you know. Great, good on you. I think the open world aspect is a little bit different in this one, and I think that intrigues me a little bit. But I've only seen a little bit, and from what I've seen, it looks fantastic. That one, I don't know if I'll hop on right away, but excited to see more of it, whether I play it or whether I'm just watching someone else play it on stream. We're going to skip March because I'm not seeing anything there. April's got not a whole lot either. And then we're popping in really, really far. Ooh, September and November. Nothing really super set in stone. But then we got some that are just to be announced titles that we've either seen, you know, some word of or some trailers, but nothing set in stone as of release dates, as far as I can tell by this specific list I'm using on Game Informer. This one I kind of jump back and forth between of like really excited and then not so much. It's Ghostwire Tokyo. That first initial announced trailer of very CGI-esque, I was like all in. I was like, holy shit, this looks amazing. It's, you know, like an action adventure, and it's like got all this like mythological stuff tied to it, and it's like, whoa, supernatural, this looks really cool. And then we got the gameplay reveal, and I was like, this not what I was picturing. This BioShock first person spooky spell hands thing. I don't know if it just didn't look super polished or what it was. It just, yeah. So I'm like 50-50. I really want to know what's going on with the story because it looks cool with all this like supernatural elements to it. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know if that's what I was wanting from gameplay wise for it. I don't know. So Ghostwire, we'll see. We'll see how that kind of plays out. If I jump into that fully or not. Cool to see Destroy All Humans 2 getting a remaster. I'm glad the first one did well enough that they decided to go forward with that. We have obviously God of War Ragnarok coming out. That's another big one. High hopes for that. Similar to Forbidden West, obviously, you know, after playing the latest God of War, and then heading into this one, just the excitement levels. The story of Ghostwire of God of War was fantastic. Jeff still hasn't beaten it. He should. He's got some time. But no, I understand. A lot of fun. That game, the combat is obviously fantastic with the axe, how you're able to recall it, and just the amount of freedom you're able to have in your combat style, whether it's just you or Atreus assisting you. A lot of fun, and where that story leaves off and what you learn by the end of that journey is just really exciting to follow up on and do more with. Another one coming out, Gotham Knights. This is the first follow-up. Oh, no, this is not a... Is this... No, the Suicide... Okay, hold on. Jeff, you're going to have to help me out here. Gotham Knights, is this the one that's also Arkham-related, similar to... the Suicide Squad game? I know the Suicide Squad game. These are made by two different developers, if I'm not mistaken. Are they both Arkham related? Either way, Gotham Knights looks cool. I like the ability that you're going to be able to choose your different character, whether you want to go Batgirl, whether you want to go Nightwing, Robin, or shit. Once again, this is another one I can picture him. Is it just Red Hood? Red Hood. Picking those guys. It's set in a world similar to the end of Arkham City, though. Don't know if it's directly related. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm excited to try it out. The Batman games, their history has been good. Like I said, I don't think this is the direct Arkham Asylum City Knight developer, but I am excited to give it a try, jump into that. Looks fun, looks like a good time. And then speaking of, we have obviously the Suicide Squad game coming from the Arkham Studios, where it's them versus the Justice League, who's been corrupted by something. That one looks pretty as hell. And back to wrestling talk, Samoa Joe's in it as King Shark, so that's just a little fun Easter egg connection there. But very excited for that. Game looks very clean. We haven't seen gameplay yet, so we'll have to see how that rolls out. But excited just to hop more into the Arkham universe. Obviously, like I said, that studio's done fantastic work with those 3 games. So looking forward to jumping into that. What else we got? Pokemon trading card game. No, just kidding. Apparently, Prince of Persia is getting a remake. Yeah. Shovel Knight. Huh. Didn't know about that one. Splatoon 3 I'm excited to hop into now that I finally have a Switch. Splatoon 1 and 2 I've played a little bit as friends had brought it over. Had a blast with that shooter. And just dumb fun. Just getting some paint everywhere. So excited to try that out. We were talking about Suicide. I can really talk today. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Hype for that. I think that might be it. Oh, WWE 2K22. Excited to see how much that game is fucked. We'll have to see. Jeff says he double-checked. Gotham Knights takes place in a universe shortly after Batman's apparent death, but is not related to the Arkham games. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how Gotham Knights plays out. Will this be another situation similar to Arkham Origins where it's good, but it's not, like, fantastic, blows, the socks off everything? But I think with Batman being dead, apparently, I think that's going to be a fun dynamic to kind of play around with these characters too, because obviously they're his proteges learning from him, but seeing how they handle stuff on their own, and obviously the 4 of them as a team, and yeah, I don't know, I just have really enjoyed obviously the Arkham games and learning the lore about Batman and different villains and discovering things. So that with Knights being more of that, I'm excited for that. But also with the Suicide Squad game, just if it's more Arkham, just give me that. I don't know how they're going to play it with the characters, if you're going to like swap in between them. But like if it's essentially a strong story like that, along with discovering stuff and learning stuff, I'm all for it. Jeff brings up the devs behind DC Universe Online are making an MMORPG for Marvel. Yeah, I heard about those rumors too. Excited to see more or hear anything from about that game. DCUO was a lot of fun. I wasn't big on the player versus player elements just because I was always scared I was just going to get murdered. But for the time I did play of online, which was a lot but also wasn't a lot, I really enjoyed my time with it. I think the character customization was fun, along with unlocking armor, suits, and different outfits for your character to customize, and then just running around and the different like little short stories that you could kind of tackle in that. Just was a good time. It was a good time. I know Jeff and I streamed it once together. Yeah, just fun. The thing I'm worried about with that game is if it's just going to be a palette swap. Like, is it essentially just going to be the same thing with Marvel characters, which in one way isn't a bad thing, but in another I could see everybody being up in arms about it, because like, how do you do this without it just simply being take Superman but switch it with Captain Marvel or whatever? Like, is it still we're creating characters and going from there, or is this going to be similar to the other Marvel MMO game that shut down a few years ago, where you're the heroes and you can unlock different ones and go from there? We'll have to see. City of Heroes? No, not City of Heroes. I know that one too, but no, it was another like MMO that had come out, and you would like, I don't know if it was cards or whatever, but you would buy to unlock like Spider-Man or fucking Captain America, and then you would go around as those characters, so you could see other Thors, you could see other Caps, you could see other Iron Men going around, and you would do missions from there. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, obviously, A, if that rumor is correct, and then B, how it plays out if and when they eventually do gameplay. But yeah, those are some games that I'm looking forward to and excited about. I do plan on doing an episode before a year's end of like personal game of the years and just like games that really caught my attention from 2021. But that'll be later towards the end of the year. I'm very excited for Game Awards. Obviously, Game Awards is just a lot of fun. I'm not super excited or stoked to see who wins any of the awards. I'm just like, ooh, game announcements like at this point. Just seeing more of that, and hopefully seeing more of the games that we talked about today, getting more concrete details about them, but also seeing what's down the road. Hopefully it's not like, oh, this is coming out in 2025. Like, I don't need that. Give me stuff that's either we're coming right up on it or it's next year. Like, I think that's the perfect window. Don't give me this crap like fucking Elder Scrolls 6. Not even that I'm that attached to it, but like, here's the title screen, we're working on it, and then nothing. Like, don't do that. That's bad. Let's see. Jeff wants some news on Metroid Prime 4. Wasn't that just Dread? Or no? New Perfect Dark, and maybe something new for Mass Effect. Yeah, Mass Effect probably will get something because we got that last year, right? We haven't heard shit, or was that E3? I don't know. Nintendo revisiting an IP they haven't touched in forever, like fucking what's Captain Falcon's game? Ooh boy, yeah, I don't know. Star Fox F-Zero, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that could be good. We'll have to see. Chrono Series. I think there's rumors. I don't know if you were pointed out of was it Cross or Trigger getting a remaster. Kirby has that new game coming out. Yeah. We'll have to see. But this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a subscriber like Jeff and Papa Griff did today. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. It drops over on YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 on the following Friday. Last but not least, #add merch store and get all of your swag over there, including the brand new Boom logo t-shirt. Grab it all over there. Rep the brand, support us, and we'd love you for it. Thanks again for hanging out today for this podcast episode. I know the topics were a little bit on the fly, but we made it work. Appreciate you guys hanging out today, giving this a watch, giving it a listen, and we'll see you guys on to the next one. Take care.